Adopting a personal debt ceiling can be a transformative step for families, and really families of all sizes. The concept of a debt ceiling has been a topic of significant discussion in the realm of economic policy, particularly in relation to government spending. You've heard a lot about that in recent months. However, the idea of imposing a debt ceiling can also be applied to personal finance. In fact, we believe that it should. Families can benefit from adopting their own debt ceiling as a vital tool in creating a more sound financial plan. I think this is an overlooked step. We're going to talk about it today by exploring the notion of a debt ceiling, its importance, and how families can leverage it to achieve financial stability and greater peace of mind. The debt ceiling is a statutory limit, and it's set by governments on the amount of money they can borrow. It serves as sort of a mechanism to control excessive spending, and it ensures, or is supposed to ensure, fiscal responsibility. Similarly, when families impose their own debt ceiling, they establish a predetermined limit on the amount of debt they're willing to accumulate, sort of a spending limit. Now, this self-imposed constraint, it encourages more prudent financial behavior. What is the importance of a personal debt ceiling? Well, number one, it promotes financial discipline. So important. Families can establish clear boundaries on their borrowing capacity. In other words, how much they're willing to spend, how much debt they're willing to hold. And this acts as a safeguard against impulsive spending and the accumulation of excessive debt. It encourages individuals to make conscious financial decisions and evaluate their needs versus wants. Number two, it minimizes financial stress. By adopting a debt ceiling, your family could create a sense of financial security and peace of mind. You can also avoid the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck and the constant worry about meeting your financial obligations. This allows for a much more balanced and fulfilling life. Number three, it supports long-term financial goals. A debt ceiling helps families stay focused on their long-term financial objectives. By limiting your debt, individuals or families like yours can allocate more resources towards savings, investments, and other important financial goals. It provides a framework for prioritizing and planning for your future. Number four, it builds resilience. Now, what do I mean by that? A debt ceiling can act as a buffer against financial emergencies and unexpected expenses. It helps you be better prepared for unforeseen circumstances such as a job loss, a layoff, medical bills, home repairs. These things add up. Occasionally, these things can happen all at once. Now, implementing a personal debt ceiling, it might sound like a really difficult thing to do. Let's talk about some more points. You first assess your current financial situation. To establish an effective debt ceiling, families must evaluate their financial standing, which includes determining your income, your expenses, outstanding debts, and assessing their ability to repay debt comfortably. So think of it as a personal profit and loss statement, much like a business would use. And then you have to set realistic limits. Much like a diet, you can't just start with full force because chances are you'll go back to what's comfortable. When setting a debt ceiling, it is essential to be realistic and considerate of your financial capabilities. Don't try to take on too much. Analyze your income, your expenses, your financial goals to determine a debt threshold that aligns with your long-term aspirations. The next point is tracking and monitoring your debt. Now, maintain a diligent record of your debts, including credit cards, loans, and mortgages, and regularly review your debt-to-income ratio to ensure that you stay within your established debt ceiling. That debt-to-income ratio will become a term that you will get familiar with if you've never purchased a home. To get an attractive mortgage, you'll need a good debt-to-income ratio. You want to utilize budgeting tools, spreadsheets, or maybe financial apps that can help you track your progress and make adjustments on the fly. That is a very convenient tool, and most of the apps are free of charge. The next point is prioritizing debt repayment. If you find yourself nearing your debt ceiling, your limit, prioritizing debt repayment strategies becomes a very important part of this process. Consider paying off high-interest debt first, or you might adopt what we call the debt snowball or debt avalanche methods to accelerate your progress. We'll talk about those a little more in another show. Here's how your financial advisor can help. Adopting a personal debt ceiling. It can be a transformative step towards financial well-being for individuals and families. It promotes financial discipline, as we've already said, reduces stress, helps individuals prioritize really short and long-term goals. And if you don't have an advisor, if you don't have someone that you can rely on, you can contact our firm. We're more than happy to give you a second opinion, or, depending on your situation, you might work with our firm. By setting realistic limits, tracking debt, and making conscious financial decisions, families can achieve a sense of control over their finances. Just as governments employ debt ceilings, even though they don't always stick to them, families can leverage that same concept. Your financial advisor or OmniStar is here to help. I hope this edition of We're Talking Money has inspired you to consider implementing a family debt ceiling. I know it'll make a difference, and I know it'll make you better. It's never too late to plan, and planning always creates the opportunity for better and more predictable outcomes. Don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel and ring that bell so you never miss a great episode of We're Talking Money. New shows are produced every week with content that's carefully curated to help you make better decisions. You can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and of course our website, OmniStarFinancial.com. I'll see you next time when We're Talking Money.
Thanks for joining us on We're Talking Money. Be sure to visit us at OmniStarFinancial.com, where you can learn more about how we provide value to our clients. Subscribe to the show and our newsletters, and drop us a line with topic suggestions for upcoming shows. If you enjoyed the show, we would appreciate you passing it on to a friend and providing a rating on iTunes. This podcast is a publication of OmniStar Financial Group. The content is developed from sources believed to be reliable and accurate with all information. The information in this material is not intended as tax or legal advice and may not be used for the purpose of avoiding any federal tax penalties. Please consult legal or tax professionals for specific information regarding your individual situation. The opinions expressed and material provided are for general information and should not be considered a solicitation for the purchase or sale of any security or service provided by OmniStar. All expressions of opinion reflect that of the authors and are subject to change. Any distribution, use, or copying of this podcast, other than the intended recipients, is prohibited.